Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we are going to start about the irritating bowel syndrome. Irritating bowel syndrome is a long-term gastrointestinal disorder that can cause persistent discomfort. However, most people will not experience severe complications. Means it is very simple in some of the people, but in some people it's very complicated. People also refer IBS, short form of irritating bowel syndrome, as a specific colitis, just spastic contraction. Colitis, inflammation of the colon. Colon is consists of ascending colon, transverse colon, descending colon, sigmoid colon. Mucus colitis means inflammation of the mucus lining of the large intestine, and nervous colon means there is irritation of the nerve in the colon. It is a chronic condition. However, its symptoms tend to change over the years. Symptoms often improve as individuals learn to manage the condition. Means if you take a precautionary measures, then this can be managed easily. The most common symptoms of the IBS irritating bowel syndromes include the changes in the bowel habit, abdominal pain, cramping, which often reduce after passing a stool, a feeling that the bowel are not empty after passing the stool, passes excess gases, the passing of the mucus from the rectum, a sudden urgent need to use the bathroom, swelling or bloating of the abdomen. Symptoms often get worse after meal. A flare-up may last for several days and then symptoms either improve or resolve completely. Signs and symptoms vary between the individuals. They often resemble symptoms of other diseases and conditions and can also affect different part of the body besides colon. They may include the frequent urination, halitosis or the breath, means in your breath there is a bad smell, headache, joint or muscles pain, persistent fatigue, in female, painful sex, or dyspareunia, irregular menses. Anxiety and depression may also occur, often due to the discomfort and embarrassment that may accompany the condition. Inflammatory bowel syndrome is an so inflammatory bowel disease is an umbrella term used to describe disorder that involve chronic inflammation of your digestive tract. Type of IBD includes ulcerative colitis, means ulcer of the colon. This condition causes long-lasting inflammation in the source ulcer in the innermost lining of the large intestine, that is the colon and rectum. Type of IBD, there are different type of IBD. Ulcerative colitis is the first. This condition causes long-lasting inflammation and source ulcer in the inner lining of your large intestine, colon and rectum. Then Crohn's disease, this type of the IBD is characterized by inflammation of the lining of your digestive tract, which often spreads deep into the affected tissues. Both ulcerative colitis and Crohn's disease usually involve severe diarrhea, abdominal pain, fatigue, and weight loss. IBD can be debilitated and sometimes lead to the life-threatening condition. And the symptom of these IBD is inflammatory bowel disease. Symptoms vary depending on the severity of the inflammation, how the intensity of inflammation, how much inflammation is there, and where it occurs, the part of the colon. Symptoms may range from mild to severe. You are likely to have a period of active illness followed by a period of remission. Then again it's started. Signs and symptoms that common to the both Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis includes diarrhea, fever and fatigue, abdominal pain and cramps, blood in stool, and reduced appetite, unintended weight loss. This is causes. What is the cause of the IBD? The exact cause of the inflammatory bowel disease remains unknown. Etiology is unknown. Previously, diet and stress were suspected. Means if you are taking a very irritating diet, hard diet, which is difficult to digest, and if you have got a stress, continuous stress with your economical, social, and political conditions of your life, so stress is a very important factor for the IBD. Were suspected, but now doctors know that these factors may aggravate but do not cause IBD. Now they understand that food and stress are not the basic cause, but is aggravate, means increase the IBD. One possible cause in an immune system malfunctions when your immune system tries to fight off an invading virus or bacterium. An abnormal immune response causes the immune system to attack the cells in the digestive tract too. Means that can be autoimmune disease. Your own antibodies will attack your own body cells. Hereditary also some seems to play a role in the IBD, means family born disease, which is happening in your family. IBD is more common in people who have a family member with the disease. Means if you have got a few member of families are involved in disease, like father and mother, then it can be happen to the children also. However, most people with IBD do not have the family history. Risk factors are age, number one, which is very important. Age, uh, if there is an age, people who develop IBD are diagnosed before they are 30 years of old. But some people do not develop the disease until 50 or 60 years. It varies in the age also. Race or ethnicity means which ethnic group you belong or your race. Although whites have the highest risk of the disease, it can occur in any race. If you are of Ashkenazi Jewish descent, you, your risk is even more. These Jews are of two types. One is the Ashkenazis, who are the modern Jews, and one are the Eastern Jews, who are the Orthodox Jews. Family history, you are at a high risk if you have a close relatives, such as the parents, siblings, or a child with the disease. Cigarette smoking is one of the cause. Cigarette smoking is the most common important collateral controllable risk factor for developing Crohn's disease. If you leave this habit of having a cigarette, then you can prevent your Crohn's disease. Although smoking may provide some protection against ulcerative colitis, the overall health benefit of not smoking make it important to try to quit. Means if you are getting little benefit out of smoking in ulcerative colitis, but long term it will cause a lungs disease and other disease. Non-steroidal anti-inflammatory medications like that includes the ibuprofen or diclofenac sodium or aceclofenac sodium or mefenamic acid or naproxen. These medicines may increase the risk of the developing IBD or worsen disease in people who have IBD. Where you live, if you live in an industrialized country, you are more likely to develop IBD because industrialized country has got more pollution in the water, air, and land. Therefore, it may be that environmental factors, including a diet high in fats, like a living style, you're taking high fat diet or refined foods, means very refined. So that also lead to the IBD, play a role. People living in northern climates also seems to be at great risk, means cold weather is also causing the IBD. Complication, ulcerative colitis and Crohn's disease have some complication in common and other are specific to each condition. Complication found in both conditions may include colon cancer. With IBD can lead to colon cancer. Having IBD increase your risk of colon cancer. General colon cancer screening guideline for people without IBD call for a colonoscopy every 10 years beginning at age of 50. So here the patient has to go for the colonoscopy, means they will put the endoscope in colon, and from there they will find out the ulcer in the colon. Ask your doctor whether you need to have this test done sooner and more frequently. Skin and eye joint inflammation, certain disorders including the arthritis, skin lesions, and eye inflammation, uveitis may occur during IBD flare-up. Medication side effects, certain medication for IBD are associated with a small risk of developing certain cancers. Corticosteroids can be associated with a risk of the osteoporosis. If the patient is taking steroids, then he may get calcium removed from the bones, and we call it osteoporosis. High blood pressure and other conditions. Primary sclerosing cholangitis. In this condition, inflammation causes scars within the bile duct, eventually making them narrow and gradually causing liver damage. Blood clots, IBD increase the risk of the blood clot in veins and arteries. Complication of Crohn's disease may include bowel obstruction. Crohn's disease affects the full thickness of the intestinal wall. Over time, part of the bowel can thicken and narrow, which may block the flow of digestive contents. You may require surgery to remove the disease portion of your bowel. Malnutrition, diarrhea, abdominal pain, cramping may make it difficulty for for you to eat or for your intestine to absorb enough nutrition to keep you nourished. It's also common to develop anemia due to the low iron or vitamin B12 caused by the disease, because this vitamin B12 will not absorb from the intestine or colon. Non-pathogenic bacteria, they produce the B12 in the colon. Then we have got ulcer. Chronic inflammation can lead to open source ulcer anywhere in your digestive tract, including your mouth, anus, and in genitalia area. Then fistula, there are they created the holes in the rectum. That is, sometimes ulcer can extend completely through the intestinal wall, creating fistula. Fistula means opening, damage of the wall of large colon. An abnormal connection between the different body parts, fistula near or around the anus, perianal are the most common kind. In some cases, a fistula may become infected and form an abscess. Anal fissures, this is a small tear in the tissues that lines the anus or in the skin around the anus where infection can occur. It's often associated with a painful bowel movement and may lead to a perianal fistula. So there are some damage of the muscles of large intestine at the level of anus and rectum. Pathophysiology of diarrhea. Diarrhea is an increase in the volume of the stool or frequency of the defecation. It is one of the most common clinical signs of the gastrointestinal disease, like in IBD, but also can reflect primary disorder outside of the digestive system. Certainly, disorder affecting either the small or large bowel can lead to diarrhea. For many people, diarrhea present in occasional inconvenience or annoyance. Yet at least 2 million people in the world, mostly children, died from the consequences of diarrhea each year. Because in diarrhea, there is a lot of electrolytes and dehydration leads to the death. There are numerous causes of the diarrhea, but in almost all cases, the disorder is manifestation of one of the four basic mechanisms described below. It is also common for more than one of the four mechanisms to be involved in pathogenesis of given case. Absorption of water in the intestine is dependent on adequate absorption of solutes. If excess amount of the solutes are retained in the intestinal lumen, water will not be absorbed and diarrhea will result. Osmotic diarrhea typically results from one of the two situations: ingestion of the poorly absorbed substances. The offending molecule is usually carbohydrate or divalent ions. Common example includes mannitol or sorbitol, Epsom salts, magnesium sulfate, and some antacids, magnesium hydroxide. Malabsorption, inability to absorb certain carbohydrates, is the common deficit in this category of diarrhea, but it can result virtually any type of the malabsorption. A common example of malabsorption afflicting many adults, human and pets in lactose intolerance. Diarrhea can be due to the lactose intolerance resulting from a deficiency in the brush border enzyme lactase. There is a deficiency of lactase in the intestine. In such cases, a modern quantity of the lactose is consumed, usually as milk, but the intestinal epithelium is deficient in lactase enzyme and lactose cannot be effectively hydrolyzed into the glucose and galactose for absorption. The osmotically active lactose is retained in the intestine lumen where it holds water. To add in, insult to injury, unabsorbed lactose passes into the large intestine where it is fermented by the colonic bacteria, resulting in production of excess gases. So, if there is a deficiency of the lactase enzyme, that can also excess gases accumulation in large intestine. A distinguishing feature of the osmotic diarrhea is that it stops after the patient is fasted or stopped consuming the poorly absorbed solutes. So, this is a solution for that. Then there is another type of the diarrhea, that is a secretory diarrhea. Large volume of the water are normally secreted into the small intestine lumen, but a large majority of this water is efficiently absorbed before reaching the large intestine. Diarrhea occurs when secretion of water into intestine lumen exceed absorption. Many million of the people have died of the secretory diarrhea associated with the cron cholera. The responsible organism, Vibrio cholera, produce cholera toxins which strongly activate adenylyl cyclase, causing a prolonged increase in intracellular concentration of the cyclic AMP within cyst enterocytes. This this changes this These changes result in prolonged opening of the chloride channels that are instrumental in secretion of water from the test, allowing uncontrolled secretion of water. Additional cholera toxins affect the entire nervous system, resulting in the independent stimulus secretion. So, cholera is also one of the most important disease, which is also causes a secretory diarrhea. Now, the further we see the exposure to these toxins from several other type of bacteria. We have just talked about the cholera organism. Here is E. coli. Beet liable toxins include same series of the steps in massive secretory diarrhea that is often lethal unless the person or animal is aggressively treated to maintain hydration. You have to take more and more water and electrolyte. In condition to bacterial toxin, a large number of the other agents can include secretory diarrhea by turning on intestinal secretory machinery includes some laxatives. That laxatives also causes the diarrhea. Hormones secreted by certain types of the tumor, vasoactive intestinal peptides, that also causes the secretory diarrhea. A broad range of the drug, for example, some type of the asthma medication, salbutamol, antidepressant like tricyclic or serotonin inhibitor, serotonin antidepressant, and cardiac drug like beta blockers or vasodilators. Certain metals, organic toxins, and plant products, for example, arsenic, insecticides, mushrooms, toxins, coffee, that also cause secretory diarrhea. In some cases, secretory diarrhea will not resolve during a 2 to 3 days fast. Then we have got an inflammation and infectious diarrhea. This is the third type of diarrhea, right? The epithelium of the digestive tube is protected from insult by a number of mechanisms constituting the gastrointestinal barrier that, but like many barriers, it can be breached. Disruption of the epithelium of the intestine due to the microbes or viral pathogens is a very common cause of the diarrhea in all species. Destruction of the epithelial results not only in exudation of the serum and blood into the lumen, but often is associated with the widespread destruction of the absorption epithelium. In such cases, absorption of water occurs very inefficiently and diarrhea results. So there are different causes of the diarrhea, as you have seen, and different type of the diarrhea. One is a secretory diarrhea, one is a inflammatory diarrhea, which is infectious diarrhea. Example of pathogens frequently associated with infection diarrhea are bacteria, Salmonella, which causes typhoid, E. coli, then Campylobacter, viruses like rotavirus, coronavirus, paranovirus, canine and feline, norovirus, protozoa like Coccidia species, Cryptosporidium, Giardia. Giardia is a very common infectious diarrhea. The immune response to inflammatory condition in the bowel contributes subsequently to development of the diarrhea. So due to the immune response, means what your immune response fight against those bacteria and viruses also causes a diarrhea, infective diarrhea. Activation of the white blood cells lead to them to secrete inflammatory mediators and cytokines, which can be interleukins and other prostaglandins. These cytokines can cause stimulate secretion in effects, imposing a secretory component on top of an inflammatory diarrhea. Reactive oxygen species from the leukocytes can damage and kill intestinal epithelial cells, which are replaced with immature cells that typically are deficient in brush border special enzymes and like lactose and transporters necessary for absorption of the nutrients and water. In this way, components of an osmotic malabsorption diarrhea are added to the problem. Diarrhea associated with the DRH motility means the motility, the movement of the intestine is disturbed. In order for a nutrition and water to be effectively absorbed, the intestinal content must be adequately exposed to the mucous epithelium and retain long enough to allow absorption. If the food is not retained in intestine for the absorption of the ileum, because the maximum absorption into the blood is taking place from the ileum, so it has to be stopped and stay over there for a certain period of time. Disorder in motility then accelerate transit time could decrease absorption. If there is a diarrhea, there is an increase of the motility of intestine and the food won't retain over there for a certain period of time for the maximum absorption, and if it comes out as a diarrhea. Result in the diarrhea even if the absorptive process per se was proceeding properly. Alteration in intestinal motility, usually increased propulsion like in diarrhea, are observed in many types of the diarrhea. What is not usually clear and very difficult to demonstrate is whether primary alteration in motility are actually the cause of diarrhea or simply an effect. So this can be effect or this can be a cause. Other major causes of the chronic diarrhea, microscopic colitis. This is a persistent diarrhea that usually affect older adults, often during the night. Malabsorptive and maldigestive diarrhea. The first is caused by the impaired nutrients absorption. The second by impaired digestive function. Celiac disease is one example. Then chronic infection, a history of the travel or antibiotics use can be clue to the chronic diarrhea. Various bacteria and parasites can be caused. So antibiotic is also like augmentin. It's that causes, or the penicillin group that causes the diarrhea because they disturb the normal flora of the large intestine colon. Drug-induced diarrhea, laxatives and other drugs, including antibiotics, can trigger diarrhea. Endocrine causes, sometimes hormonal factors, causes diarrhea. For example, in the case of the Addison disease and carcinoid tumors. Cancer causes, neoplastic diarrhea is associated with a number of gut cancers. Due to the gut cancer is also a diarrhea. Most common cause of the cases of the diarrhea are caused by infection in the gastrointestinal tract. The microbes responsible for this infection includes bacteria, virus, parasitic organisms. The most common identification Identified cause of the acute diarrhea in the United States are the bacteria Salmonella, which causes typhoid, and then Campylobacter, then Shigella. This is one of the most common bacteria of the diarrhea, and Shiga toxins producing E. coli, Escherichia coli. Some cases of the chronic diarrhea are called functional because the clear cause cannot be found in developed world, means advanced countries. Irritating bowel syndrome is the most common cause of the functional diarrhea. IBS is a complex symptom. There is cramping abdomen and altered bowel habits, including the diarrhea, constipation, both. Now we touch one of the topic, that is a liver dysfunction. Determine the cause of the hepatic dysfunction. Postpone Postpone elective surgery in patients with acute hepatitis. We cannot go for the surgery if a patient has hepatitis, means inflammation of the liver, viral or toxin or drug related or undiagnosed hepatic dysfunction due to avoid further hepatic insult. A hyperdynamic cardiovascular states, increased cardiac output or heart rate, and decreased systemic vascular resistance may exist because of the systemic venous, collateral, and humoral mediators. Cardiopathy may be present despite an elevated cardiac output. These arrhythmia are common, are not uncommon. There is a high incidence of the arterial hypoxia, intrapulmonary shunting, hepatopulmonary disease, pulmonary hypertension, and impaired hypoxic pulmonary vasoconstriction. Pleural effusion means there is a accumulation of the liquid around the heart or lungs. We call it pleural effusion. And ascites in the third cavity of the stomach, there is accumulation of the water. We call it ascites. It contributes to the atelectasis, means lungs performance is disturbed, and ventilatory compromise means when you have to go on the ventilator in these patients, like in the coronavirus we are doing nowadays. Cirrhotic patients have impaired sodium and water excretion and a decreased glomerular filtration rate, GRF, and resulting in hyponatremia, decrease the sodium, and increase total body fluid. Aggressive diuresis or a removal of the ascites fluid may render the patient hypovolemia. If you will remove all these accumulated fluid in the body, maybe that lead to the decrease of the volume of total body volume. The hepatorenal syndromes, functional renal failure, and acute tubular necrosis can be precipitated by volume depletion, gastrointestinal bleeding, paracentesis, diuresis, or surgery. Serum creatinine often overestimates renal function. Hypoglycemia may be present, diabetes, altered glucose homeostasis, and inadequate hepatic glycogen storage. There is a decrease of the glucose in the form of glycogen storage in the liver. Encephalopathy means brain is also involved, occur with the advanced hepatic diseases. In liver diseases, brain is also found and can be exacerbated by volume depletion, sedation, hypokalemia, metabolic acidosis, infections, upper GI bleeding, and dietary protein indiscretion. So encephalopathy means there is involvement of the brain also affected. Severe encephalopathy is usually associated with a cerebral edema, means there is a swelling of the brain, and elevated intracranial pressure, means intracranial pressure in the spinal cord and brain in third ventricle and fourth ventricle and second and first ventricle. They are full of the CSF, and CSF is also present between the pia mater and arachnoid matter, which surround the whole the spinal cord and brain. The pressure is also increased. Then coagulopathy may be present and is multifactorial, diminished clotting factor synthesis, thrombocytopenia, vitamin K deficiency, dysfibrinogenemia, accelerated fibrinolysis, and DIC. DIC means disseminated intravascular coagulation in all the vessels of the body. There is small coagulation, and that leads to death. Anemia is also common. This is all about today's lecture. So we have discussed about the different topics in that. right? So you have seen that we have discussed about the IBD, irritating bowel disease, irritating bowel syndrome, different type of the diarrhea, liver dysfunction, and I hope when we start next topic, and I will send you that also. Thank you very much, and I will stop over here sharing. Right.